Also people relocating from New York who kind of want to understand what incentives New Jersey has for seniors. So very excited to do this show today. We're going to have a lot of actionable tips, and you're going to learn exactly how this benefits you. So before we go in, my name's Robert O'Keefe. I'm a real estate broker here in Monmouth County, New Jersey. We cover all of New Jersey. A lot of the 55 plus communities happen to be in Monmouth and Ocean County. And we're here to help you make educated decisions on your relocation plans. We're here to answer all your questions. A lot of people reach out to us on their journey, probably a year or two, very common, just to be poking around and just seeing what's out there. So we invite you to go to our website at over55nj.homes, and you can definitely poke around at some of the inventory. You can send us an email at over55nj@gmail.com. And we're definitely very available. As we say, we're not hard to find. You can just message us on Facebook. Kind of puts a human touch on it with all the great technology we have. I was speaking to someone today who was having trouble just going through the portal sites, the Zillows, the Trulias, and our site is very niche down to focus on this type of asset class. And so you can see there's a lot of great resources on our site. So without further ado, let's dive in and let's get into our topic and some actionable advice today that you could benefit from. So very excited to put this on for you. As always, our videos are not financial or tax advice, just for entertainment purposes only. So you're welcome to show the appropriate parties and advisors this video and start coming up with a plan based on that. So the Stay New Jersey program, this has been in the news a lot. It's been very confusing. One of the things we like to do is just deliver you actionable points and actionable insight. We're not trying to win the headline. We're not trying to win the argument, which is a lot of mainstream media. And we're not trying to generate tons of clicks to our website. We're just trying to help you and deliver tangible value. So it happens to be, we like it that way because it's a great niche for us. As I said, we're not trying to win attention here. So the tangible advice we're going to give you today is how to take advantage of this and kind of like shed some light on what these rules mean and how to apply and how you can take advantage. So I was talking to my parents, and we talk pretty often. I said, "Oh, did you apply for the Stay New Jersey program yet?" And my dad's like, "No, what's that?" So this is exactly why we do this, because a lot of people either one, forget about it, or two, don't know it exists, and then they don't take advantage of it. And it's a lot of money, really, that you could be leaving on the table. So let's go into it, and let's go into the first point. So the State New Jersey program was actually signed into law in 2024. So a lot of people have been waiting for it. Some people even forgot about it. And then it was just funded in 2025. So that's kind of like the brief history on it. Signed into law 2024 and then funded in 2025, going into effect 2026 next year. So to take advantage of it, you want to be applying this year before October 1st. We're going to say this deadline a lot in this episode. October 1st, mark your calendars. If you want a copy of our home maintenance calendar, which details all things New Jersey, just write copy in the comments. We're happy to send it to you. We have little reminders like this, and we have little reminders how to take care of your home and things to stay on top of. And of course, we'll always remind you. If you're on our email list, we'll be reminding you as well, so you don't forget about this important deadline. But October 1st is when you have to apply for this. And like I said, it was passed in 2024, funded in 2025. And basically what this law does is it gives you a 50% discount on your property bill. So pretty exciting. Now that's capped at $6,500 a year. So $6,500 is your max discount you can get. And still, that's a very substantial incentive to stay in New Jersey. I guess that's the point of this law, is just to get people to stay in New Jersey. Thinking of seniors, a lot of people have raised their families here. A lot of people really like New Jersey. So the state wants you to stay, which is great, and we want you to stay. So you definitely want to take advantage of this. Now, who qualifies? Magic question, right? You have to be age 65 years or older. You have to own your own home here in New Jersey, and your income has to be below $500,000. So a helpful graphic there. 3 points here: age 65 and up, own your own home here in New Jersey, and your income is under $500,000. So how it's paid is it's a quarterly credit and rebate, and these credits start in February 2026. And to give a real life example, let's just keep the math easy. If your property taxes are $10,000 it's a $5,000 tax savings. So very exciting. And again, the cap is $6,500 because some properties in New Jersey have much higher taxes than that. We're talking in the 20,000s. I've seen $30,000 tax bills, even higher. So they cap you at 6,500, but it's still very nice savings and goes a long way. $5,000, $6,500 will just take you a long way there. So beautiful little method there. The catch is with all these, and we'll go into this too, is you have to remember to apply. Now, we'll keep you on track of that. We'll be reminding you via email. You'll have the calendar there that will remind you to apply as well. We recommend the practice of applying the first thing every year, and then we remind our customers towards the deadline as well, just in case they forget. But it's a super easy process, and we'll just go into how to apply later on in the presentation. But the trick is, and the catch is you want to definitely apply for it, because if you don't apply, you don't get it. And that would be ideal for the state, right? They're just saying they're doing these things for us, and they're hoping people don't apply, hoping people forget about it so they don't take advantage. It would be interesting if we had access to the data to see what percentage of people actually apply for these programs. But of course, that's probably very hard to get. We'll do the research, but I don't think that'll be accessible to the public like us. So long story short, on that tangent is don't forget to apply. You have to use it or you're not going to get it. Now, the next one and the next point is the Anchor program. Now, we've talked about the Anchor program previously. This program is nothing new. So what's exciting about this one is the Anchor program doesn't have an age cutoff limit. Someone in their 20s, someone even younger could qualify for the Anchor program. We have a lot of people coming to our site that's not quite 55 yet. Very common. We love those inquiries. I've been talking to someone who was 52 and is planning to move to a 55 plus community. And we've been talking probably about a couple years now, developed a great relationship. And that's kind of the way we like it. We like people to reach out early. We know each other at this point, consider her a friend. And she could qualify for this. She can qualify for a benefit like this when she owns her own home and she's not yet 55. And you could too if you're not yet 55 years of age yet. So we always encourage you to reach out and again, touch in advance so we can bring these to your attention and we can deliver value to you like this. So if you're not 55, you can qualify for this. And let's just go into some of the benefits here. So the Anchor benefit is just basically a rebate check that's mailed the following year. Again, you want to apply before October 1st. We're going to use that deadline a lot. And here are the benefits. So they go by your 2024 gross income. If you made $150,000 or less, your benefit will be $1,750. If your income was between $150,001 and $250,000, your benefit will be $1,250. Usually it's mailed around February, around 90 days after filing. And so again, you don't want to miss this deadline. You just definitely want to calendar it. We'll remind you as well. Now, those are for ages 65 and older. And like we said earlier, if you're younger, you can still qualify. The benefits are slightly less. If you make less than $150,000 and you're 64 years or younger, your benefit is going to be $1,500. If you're between $150,001 and $250,000, your benefit is going to be $1,000. So something for everybody there. You definitely want to take advantage of the Anchor program. Now, also cool about the Anchor program is we have a lot of people that look to rent first or even just want to rent in 55 plus communities. So in the Anchor program, we'll cover renters too. So if you're 64 years or younger, the benefit is $450. And if you're 65 or older, you'll get a $700 rebate check. So something for everybody there. The Anchor program is something you definitely want to take advantage of. And like everything here in this presentation, it's just remembering to do it. You don't want to leave this really free money on the table. Now, they do have some certain eligibility requirements. You would have to be a New Jersey resident, owned and occupy a home that was your principal residence, so it can't be a vacation home. And you would have to occupy that home by October 1st, 2024 of last year. Your home had to be subject to property taxes, so people that are exempt from property taxes can't qualify for this, unfortunately. And then your income is capped at $250,000. Those are for homeowners. For renters, just basically the same thing, primary resident in New Jersey by October 1st, 2024. Your name has to be on the lease or the rental agreement. You have to be up to date on your rent. And then your rental property has to be subject to local property taxes, which I pretty much haven't seen many that aren't. So you should pretty much qualify there. And again, really quick to qualify, really quick to apply online, very easy. We'll give you the guideline on how to do that later on in the video. Now, here's one we've talked about previously as well that we bring to our attention to all our customers, the senior freeze, one of our favorite ones. A little bit of a misnomer. Your property taxes actually don't freeze, but you get another rebate. So, for example, if my property taxes are $10,000 and I qualify for this program, let's say if my property taxes went up $200, $2,000, my property taxes would then be at $12,000. It wouldn't just stay frozen at $10,000. The senior freeze is just a rebate. So, kind of like a misnomer. It should be called the senior rebate or the senior refund, but I think senior freeze is more buzzworthy, gets more attention. And basically, it just basically gives you another rebate check if you qualify for the freeze and the rebate. So, who qualifies? You have to be age 65 years or older. You would have to owned and lived in your property for 3 years, paid property taxes directly, and your 2024 income must be $168,000 or less. And how it's paid is an additional rebate check. So just kind of like a rebate check, like the other programs. So that being said, we're just going to go into the application. I want to make just a quick clarification on the senior freeze program. I'm just going through my notes here. I just want to just get everyone the right information. So there's a 2020 cutoff, if I'm not mistaken, for the senior freeze. I was going based on the anchor program in the notes here. So I just want to correct myself just so you have the right information. To qualify for the senior freeze, you would have to own your home back in 2020. So very important just to clarify that. And it just kind of goes into the benefit of getting started in home ownership early and making sure that you're, just like planning ahead for these things and buying your home. Where I think the confusion was is there's a bill on the table that's going to give like kind of like a running year. So pretty much like I think that's on the table for every 3 years. Like in the past 3 years, you would qualify for the senior freeze, but the senior freeze you would have to own your home by 2020. So very important clarification there. They do have a bill on the table that's not yet passed, very early on, where they're going to try and like up these limits so people that buy property sooner can qualify. But the key is just getting in there so your property taxes, so you get that rebate as well. So that does it for the senior freeze. Now, let's go into how to apply for these programs. And this is the very exciting thing that the state also did this year. So the state has a new application and it's called the PAS1 form. The PAS1 form stands for the Property Tax Relief Application for Senior and Disabled Homeowners and Renters. So very long acronym there. We're just going to call it the PAS1 form, and I'm pretty sure that's what everyone's going to call it. So what's great about this program and this application is it combines the state of New Jersey, the senior freeze, and the anchor all in one application. So all you have to do is just fill out that one application and you just qualify for all these programs at once. So what's great about this is you just apply once and then you're good to go all at once. So you just fill out one application. We're actually going to have just bring this up here. We're just going to have like a link on our site on how to apply and also some guidelines on how to apply. I'm just going to get the deadline for this for PSA 1. And I just want to make sure we have the right deadline for you guys. I believe it's either October 1st or October 31st. So the state really made it a lot easier. We went through the site. We found the application link for you. We'll send it below. If you want a copy of that link, just send it and just book it on your calendar just to fill this out every year. And then again, this link will combine the state of New Jersey, the senior freeze, and the anchor program. What you'll need is your tax returns, your property tax bills, and some basic proof of age and your address. And we'll have the kit for you. We'll kind of have the checklist. If you want a copy of that, just write copy in the notes there. So who this for is pretty much anyone that wants to plan ahead. If you're thinking about buying a home, if you're thinking about relocating to New Jersey, these are great programs to apply for and take advantage of. If you already own your own home, if you want to stay in New Jersey, like my parents do, it's just a great program as well where you can really take advantage of this, get your property taxes on the senior freeze, and start getting yourself into the system every year. The key is repetition, and the key is just to keep applying every year. So that's really the key of this. Just set a reminder so you don't forget. Get yourself registered in the system. If you miss some of the cutoff dates, it's not a big deal. There should be future legislation that will get you in on some programs if you miss the cutoff date. But the key is just applying year over year and just making that a habit to do so. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. Every individual situation is different. So we welcome to hear from you. You can go to over55nj.chat to set up a call or sending us an email at over55nj@gmail.com. So with that, let's go into some Q&As and we'll go into the questions anybody has. So the first question is, what if I already got Anchor in 2023? So you'll basically need to apply again. You'll fill out the PSA 1 form. The date is October 31st. I said October 1st earlier, but the deadline's October 31st. I would just do it now, just in September, either in August or September, so you're covered. And basically, the previous payments don't roll over. So you definitely just want to keep applying every year and just make sure you're in the system. What's great is like they have a system eligibility checklist there, and you can also check on your benefit. So really easy to apply there, and we'll have some guidelines for you on how to do that. Next question. The benefit is based on 2024 taxes but paid in 2026. What happens if someone sells their home or passes away before the payout? So the law says the benefit is paid to those who meet eligibility for the 2024 tax year, even if they sell before 2026. If they no longer reside in the home, this may affect logistics in some capacity. So they've not clarified that, but what I would just say is just keep applying anyway. The worst thing they could say is no, and you definitely just want to get yourself in the system. And a lot of times for something like that, you can just get by. And then at the end of the day, it's an application, so there's really no consequences for not applying and not getting accepted. So we definitely encourage you to apply every year, no matter what your circumstance. Next question. My spouse is under 65. Do we qualify? Yes, as long as one spouse is 65 plus and you file jointly, the state of New Jersey law uses household income and age, and eligibility is based on either spouse being 65 years or older. So that goes back to the previous question. You just want to apply in any event. But in this case, as long as one spouse is 65, one party is 65, you'll be able to qualify. If I just moved to New Jersey, welcome. Can I still apply? For state of New Jersey, yes, you just have to be 65 years or older and have to have this as your primary resident by October 1st, 2024, and of course meet the income limits. For the senior year, no, you would have to start by 2020. So again, like we're going to go into some of the new legislation that might be coming out, which may move up that cutoff date. But the cutoff date for the senior freeze is 2020 and sooner. And for the anchor, it depends if you're a resident of New Jersey. So newer residents may not qualify for the current cycle, but you just want to keep applying year over year. Will this affect my Medicaid, Social Security income, or estate planning? So some of the checks could count for your income. The checks are really nominal in the big picture, like in a big picture bucket like that. So I really wouldn't worry too much about that. I would just keep applying and just take advantage of these checks. Like they're welcome checks, and I just wouldn't overthink it when it comes to the overall big picture of estate planning, income taxes. income and things of that nature. Can someone who owns multiple properties qualify for state New Jersey on their second home if it's in state? So the state wants this to be your primary residence, so that won't happen. If you have like an investment property or a vacation rental, you would have to prove primary residence status to qualify for this. The state kind of wants it to be for primary residences and not investors or vacation renters. Can a surviving spouse continue receiving benefits after their partner dies? What if the deceased was the sole name on the deed or tax return? Can a surviving spouse continue receiving benefits after their partner dies? What if the deceased was the sole name on the deed or the tax return? It's a better question for an attorney. I imagine if the survivor was 65 years or older, they would qualify. But again, this just goes into the application every year. And basically, to apply, you'll need all your paperwork together. You'll need to prove ownership of the home. And then, of course, you'll need to prove if you meet the income limits, the residency status, and things of that nature in order to qualify. But it just goes into the repetition of applying every year. Is there a risk that state New Jersey will be repealed or scaled back by a future administration? That's always a risk. Yeah, the laws change, which makes things interesting. Generally speaking, they're going to be pretty popular for a lot of people, for seniors, for people that want their family members to stay. People like breaks and people like tax breaks, no matter what side of the aisle you're on. So there is risk always of the laws changing or the laws getting a little bit harder. We qualified that we talked about the big beautiful bill in previous presentations, and basically they're making the application for Medicaid much more challenging. You have to apply every 6 months now, for example, instead of every year. So the laws do change. What I would just say is live in the now, just take advantage of it, and there might be even better laws in the future that may keep seniors here and more additional benefits. But that's always the risk. There's always things that change. You just want to live in the now and just take it as it comes, and always lean on us. We'll keep you in touch. We'll keep you informed as your trusted advisors of any changes that are coming along the way. What if your taxes are under $2,000? The 50% cut isn't much. What if your taxes aren't? When a renter get a bigger benefit under anchor? So yeah, that's it's all relative. So if your taxes are low, it would take taxes $2,000. That's a super low tax bill here in New Jersey, but you would get $1,000 check, which is a nice amount. The renters, the biggest elephant in the room, right? The renters' checks are pretty low. So I would still encourage you to apply and just get your name in the system and get applying for them. But you definitely want to just keep applying. And like I said, it's all relative, and you would just want to apply anyway. I would apply, it wouldn't take me that long, and I think it's worth it. The state New Jersey program uses 2024 taxes to determine your 2026 benefit. But what if your income changes dramatically between those years, especially if you sell investments or take large RMDs in 2025? So they'll use your 2024 income and taxes, but even if your 2025 income skyrockets, it won't affect that benefit. However, the future years might get affected by that. What I would say is always depend on yourself. As my great grandfather used to say, always depend on yourself. If you can make more money and your income skyrockets, that's great. And just look at these benefits as gravy. Don't try to make less money to not qualify for these programs. It just, the math doesn't make sense. The PAS1 form is supposed to streamline 3 programs. How confident are we that this will work smoothly given New Jersey's past technical delays? I had the worst time with the Affordable Health Care Law personally. I have an apostrophe in my name, which screwed up the system. And it was just the way my name was capitalized, this whole thing that just, it took me like I think months to apply for that program. We all had to do it back in the day. But I think I'm reasonably confident just based on that it's been online before in other capacities. The Anchor program's been online, the Senior Freeze program has been online. Really, the only thing they're adding is the Save New Jersey program, the Stay New Jersey program. So I think it would be relatively easy to integrate that. And I think technology is a lot better, especially even since like the Affordable Care Act, when that passed, technology has come a long way since then. So I'm pretty sure that New Jersey will handle this okay. And again, it's just controlling what you can. The best you can do is just apply for it. And then there's also ways to check on your application as well. So I would just apply and just hope for the best. A lot of great questions today. Wow. Can a home can a home that is held in a trust or owned by an LLC still qualify for the state of New Jersey? So it really depends on the trust or the LLC type, but generally they want it to be your personal residence. An LLC is like a fictitious entity, so it generally probably won't qualify. So again, they just want it to be your personal residence. I don't believe it will qualify, and it will be interesting to see what documents you have to present to show that it's your primary residence. So really depends on how it's structured. Again, I would just apply anyway if you're on the fringe there, just to see if you do qualify. But my guess is like there's a good percentage that a property like that that's not a personal residence won't qualify for the program. What options are available for seniors who rent and want to own but fear the tax burden even after these programs? So it's a great question. Some seniors may look at downsizing. That's something we do, and you'll be surprised how inexpensive a lot of your fees are, especially with our customers that have mortgages that pay mortgage month over month. When they eliminate that mortgage, when they lower their utility bills, when they lower even their insurance bills, they'll notice a big difference in their financial health and financial picture. Manufactured homes on lease land are super low. We're looking at one that we're preparing to sell. The HOA fees are only 700 a quarter, so super low and super low cost of living. But applying for all these programs is always a good idea. Um, but again, you want to look at like downsizing. You want to look at lowering your bills, especially if your house is a little bit older. We're selling a house now where all the systems are failing. The roof, the air conditioning's 22 years old. So imagine if that breaks, that's another $10,000 easy. So you definitely want to just take an inventory of your systems and how old they are, and just try and get ahead of these things and start downsizing. But the options available, you definitely want to look at lower rent. There's an affordable housing list for renters too, that you might want to get your name on. You can start applying for lists. They're very hard to get into. But if you want to reach out to that, a lot of people reach out to us looking for affordable rentals. We have a list we compiled that we could send you as well. That might be a good resource for you. All right, next one. What's the biggest reason people are denied senior fees reimbursement, even if they lived in their home a long time? It's really missing the income cap and just not paying your property taxes. So, but the biggest culprit of all is just missing and forgetting about your application. So we send reminders. If you're on our email list, you'll be getting a reminder for this. You can apply to our calendar, our home calendar, the Home OS, to get on that as well. But I'd say the biggest culprit of all, because most people qualify for these programs, but the biggest culprit of all is just forgetting to fill out the application every year. We're just not knowing how to do it. You'll be surprised how many people just don't remember until we tell them. Lots of great questions. Wow. The senior freeze locks in taxes at your base year, but what happens if your town revalues the property? Wouldn't that reset the baseline unfairly? So it won't, it really, it really would only affect you on the resale because your taxes would go up. So the state generally raises taxes just to bring in income. But for you, you'll still, if you qualify for the senior freeze and you're locked into that, you'll still get that rebate in any event. Your property taxes may go up, which may affect the resale. People always want to buy a property with low taxes for the obvious reasons. But for you, you'll be getting that property tax reimbursement from the senior freeze. Will homeowners Let's see. Will homeowners receive both Anchor and Stay New Jersey benefits for the same year, or will they cancel each other out? So here's what's great. Yes, seniors can receive both the Anchor program and Stay New Jersey, assuming they meet all the criteria. So right now, a lot of people we remind our clients of the Anchor tax benefit, which is awesome. But now we have the Stay New Jersey program too. And what's great is you could just fill out that one PSA one form and just be done and apply for both simultaneously. So just one form. New Jersey makes it easy. We really want to give props for them just putting this all together and not making it more difficult than it is to fill out multiple forms to qualify for this. To answer your question, yes, you can apply for both. They don't cancel each other out, and you can apply for both at the same time, just in one shot. Where am I? I lost myself here. State New Jersey promises to cut property taxes in half for seniors, but with a 6,500 cap, aren't higher tax tenants effectively excluded from the full tax benefit? Isn't this unfair? So everything is all relative. So yes, seniors in towns with higher taxes would just get the $6,500 benefit. I guess there has to be a cap because New Jersey property taxes tend to be much higher in other towns. Might be a good incentive to downsize too if you want to get something. We see a lot of 55 plus communities taxes are only $4,000 or $5,000 in some case, sometimes much lower. So that's a good way if you want to downsize and talk to us about that. That's a good way of effectively eliminating that bill. But I guess New Jersey can only do what it can. They need the tax revenue. It's a state that spends a lot of money, candidly. So they can't just cut property taxes in half for everybody, and they had to put this cap in. So I don't think they're necessarily excluded. Everyone still gets the same thing. But if you're concerned about property taxes and the high cost of living, it's something to think about too. And it's a valid concern. If you want to cut your property taxes in half, this will help, but it won't cut it in half all the way. So just something to think about and something to plan ahead for. All right. Final question. What's the biggest mistake New Jersey seniors make when it comes to property tax relief? And what should they be doing instead? So the biggest mistake is not applying and just not being aware. So that's one of the reasons we exist, is to be an educational resource for you, just to be there for you every step of the way and answer all your questions. The biggest mistake, like the conversation with my parents who weren't aware of this, is just either one, not knowing, or two, just forgetting to apply. So it's good money. It's reasonably good money, $6,500, and the anchor tax is nothing to sneeze at either. So you definitely want to be applying for it. We have a lot of guides for you, and we can help you through the application. Just feel free to send us an email at over55nj@gmail.com and just take advantage of it. When it's free, someone told me once, free money doesn't really come easy a lot. So when it does, we have to take it. And it's something you're entitled to. It's something that doesn't take a long time. The state made it very easy with the PAS1 app where you can just apply for all at once. And just something nice to take advantage of. You could probably buy a vacation with it, take care of all your holiday shopping, maybe just put some money away to save something else for something that's important to you. And you may need the money too. This could be a big help to a lot of people. So just don't forget to do it. We'll be here to remind you as well. As a habit, we recommend just doing it once at the start of every year, and then just double checking again your eligibility. And probably the easiest thing to do is just set a calendar reminder in September. That way, all the figures are calculated, all the links are updated, and just to take care of it. And you'll see, like once you do it year over year, it'll be easier and easier for you. And of course, we're always here to help you as well. So check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com at over55nj. You can just check all our YouTube videos, our content there. There's a lot of helpful resources. Check out the listings at over55nj.homes. Reach out to us on email. You can send us a direct message too on Facebook. Our email is over55nj@gmail.com. And we'll put this together in one neat packet for you and a guide. If you just want that, just email us guide. And then feel free to reach out to for the copy of the Home OS calendar, which gives you a reminder to apply for this every year. So that way you never forget and you never leave money